This is my journey learning one of the most iconic breakdance moves, the windmill. And to start, we need to go back a few months ago. Sunday, December 13th, 2020. A lot of you sheikhs suggested to give it a try, so I decided to start practicing the windmill for the first time in my life. And it went pretty bad. I thought it was easier. I attempted the full motion without having any idea how to do it. Moreover, back then, I didn't exactly have a technique to learn new skills. I simply kept trying over and over, hoping to get it. So the first day, I tried a lot and I kept hurting myself. One of the biggest problems was not finding the right surface to practice. I tried inside my house, on the grass, in my basement, and I could never manage to get something decent. Then I finally decided to watch a few tutorials. And the theory is not that simple. So I approached the skill step by step. Step 1, we need to learn the total freeze. First, you need to understand which direction you would like to spin while doing the windmill. And if I think about it, I prefer to rotate counterclockwise. So you need to crouch on the ground, placing your left hand with the fingers pointing to your left side and your right hand with the fingers pointing straight away from you. At this point, we position the right elbow between the waist and the rib cage, which is not painful at all. And we transfer the weight on the left arm. Then by lifting the legs from the ground and keeping them open and as straight as possible, you get the total freeze. This looks pretty hard, but it's actually quite easy.
Oh my god!
Next, we need to learn the collapsing technique. The technique I'm talking about gets you from the freeze position to the actual spin. And it's
impossible.
So, from the total freeze position, we bring the left leg underneath the right leg. To collapse, we need to bend the left arm while pushing with the right one, causing the body to roll down onto the shoulder. And even this step can be pretty uncomfortable, to be honest. But anyways, then we roll onto the upper back and then to the opposite shoulder. I wasn't really sure what I was doing, so I tried first with my feet touching the ground. And then, only when I got more comfortable with the technique, I decided to start practicing with my legs in the air. This way I had much less control, and it took me a while to get used to this movement and making it smoother. The only thing that I could do in the beginning was crushing my shoulder against the ground. But then I realized that bending my left arm was not enough. If you want to get to this step, you really need to rotate your hips, and most importantly, you need to start with a bit of momentum going. The problem is that I had no idea how to move my legs to create momentum. So I started practicing from the sitting position, and it has been really hard in the beginning. But then, by really focusing on keeping my legs straight, I got better. Spinning the legs is fundamental to create momentum to start, and also maintain the rotation of the windmill. I kept trying, but at this point, literally every inch of my body was hurting. Day 2, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. And here is where things took an unexpected turn. Thursday, December 24th, 2020. I made this video trying again all the skills I learned during the year. So I stopped practicing the windmill for a few days with the idea of getting back to it once that video was done. But the backflip. The backflip had different plans for me. While trying to get it for the second time in my life, I landed on my shoulder. It hurt a lot, and instead of taking some rest, I kept trying, landing on my shoulder over and over. And in the end, it turned out that I almost broke it. And after a week, I basically couldn't move my arm. I had to stop working out, and my doctor implored me to absolutely avoid physical skills, including the windmill. Until today. 126 days later, we are here this week to finally get the windmill. The morale was high and I was excited, but I've been quickly crushed by the reality that I had forgot almost all the progress I made in the past. Almost, I said. Because then I started practicing once again, approaching the windmill step by step. First, the total freeze, and I had no problems with this one. My shoulder works. Let's go! Then, the collapsing technique. It was really bad at first, but I quickly made progress and reached the point where I left, which wasn't great, by the way. The next step consists in effectively spin my legs in order to create momentum, allowing my body to rotate and go back to the original position. The key here is to really split your legs as much as you can and maintain the distance through all the process. This one is not easy, but I feel like I'm getting there. So, I want to move to the next step. Today is tomorrow, I mean the next day, and I am super excited because it was finally time to combine the collapsing technique with the leg movement in order to rotate on my back, and with the goal of landing on a total freeze after the first rotation. I feel like I'm always almost there, but I'm still missing something. I need to become a spinning top. Starting from the freeze while keeping one leg in the air, in theory, you should swing the left leg counterclockwise, moving it underneath the right leg. The problem is that I have no idea how to do it. Moreover, while doing that, we collapse the left arm, rolling on the shoulder and on the back. I think I'm broken.
This part doesn't look normal at all.
All that requires strength and most importantly, a good coordination and technique to combine all the movements. And it's something I clearly don't have. I was still terrible, but at least I was doing something. The problem is that for some reason, I kept landing on my lower back, and this was slowing down the rotation a lot. Then I realized that if I wanted to avoid landing like that, I had to keep my legs way higher doing the baby freeze.
Yeah, I think I get it.
Focusing on spinning on the top part of my back while keeping my body vertical since the beginning. So I started lifting my leg more, helping myself by resting the head on the ground and then jumping with my right leg just before starting the rotation. And it kinda started to work. By watching the footage, I also realized that I was closing my legs at the end of the rotation, and also I wasn't keeping them close enough to my body. So I went back to it, trying for the 1000th time, focusing on keeping my legs straight and split during all the motion. And as soon as I did that, for the first time ever, I managed to complete a kinda smooth full rotation. The movement is not perfect yet, but this is progress. I don't know why I'm running. As I said, the goal now is to go back to the original position, the total freeze, in a smooth way. In order to start another rotation after that and keep the windmill flowing, I have to learn two things. The first one being the correct hand positioning. If you're spinning counterclockwise like me, after collapsing you need to tuck the right arm and prepare your left arm to get to the total freeze position. Something like this. The second thing I have to master is the hip movement, because the hardest part now is not touching the ground with my legs when I turn. And to do so, I needed to generate enough momentum to avoid getting stuck on my back. It basically all comes down to how you move your hips and how you spin your legs.
I am extremely tired and I've lost my skin.
I tried to kick faster with my left leg and push hard with my right hand. And this way, I immediately felt that I could create a stronger momentum. Alright Shakes, I'm tired, everything hurts, and I'm done for the day. Tomorrow, I will get the windmill. The next day I woke up with a new tattoo I knew nothing about, but I realized that another mistake I was making was trying to flip over to the freeze position. So the next day I tried taking my time and slowly getting back up. This way I felt it was way easier, and slowly I was really understanding the movement. The theory was clear and I practiced a lot, focusing on keeping the momentum flowing and keeping the legs as straight as possible. And as usual, the more I tried, the more I got confident. By keep making small adjustments, I feel like I'm slowly getting there. I feel like a football player, by the way. Half of it. And finally, after a while, I started to kick harder with my left leg. This way, I've been able to get back on the freeze position for the first time without having my knees touching the ground.
I'm finally doing something that looks like a windmill. Let's go, Shakes.
After about 3 hours of practice, I was happy with the results. Extremely tired, but happy, because at this point I only had to increase the speed to keep the rotation going from the freeze position, doing another windmill and another one after that.
I feel extremely close and extremely far at the same time.
I only need 3 full and fluid spins to get the windmill, but it's hard.
Let's go, Shakes, we're almost there.
So I tried to do 3 full spins, and surprisingly I managed to do it, but I was still not fluid enough. I kept trying over and over. The only problem was that my body was full of bruises, and I had pain absolutely everywhere. Wrist, knees, shoulder and waist.
Today is day 3 and my body is forcing me to quit. I'll try again tomorrow.
And so the next day I kept trying. This skill is extremely technical, one of the most difficult I've ever learned on the channel for sure. But slowly I was making progress. Everything needs to be perfect. Getting enough speed, keeping the legs high, straight and split, and you also need to have the right hand movement. And after 4 extremely tiring days, I've been finally able to complete the windmill in a decent way.
I am extremely
destroyed. Seriously. I know it's not perfect. I need to get back to this. I need to improve my going back to the freeze position. But I'm also so freaking happy because I improved way more than expected in 6 days. So yeah, guys, I will get back to this. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you liked it. I'll see you next week with a new skill.